Oga Kyul was a lazy man. One day, he found a magic pot that could multiply anything he put inside. He became rich, but when his greedy neighbor Madam Ebubu used the pot in secret, trouble started for the whole village. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for full story. Every morning, instead of going to the farm, he would lock his door, bring out the magic pot, and put one little thing inside. If it was rice, the pot would overflow with rice. If it was cloth, the pot would fill with many beautiful wrappers. Oga Kyul became rich overnight. He built a bigger hut, wore fine clothes, and ate meat every day. The villagers began to wonder. Oh, is this not the same lazy Kyul who used to beg for soup? How come he is now living like a chief? They asked themselves. Even the children who once mocked him now greeted him with respect. "Good morning, Uncle Kyul," they would say, and he would smile proudly, forgetting the days of hunger. The elders shook their heads in confusion. They could not understand where his sudden wealth came from. But Oga Kyul kept his secret well. He hid the pot in the most secret place in his room, under his bed, deep in the ground. Anytime he finished using it, he would cover it with cloth and push his bed over it. Nobody knew what was happening in his room. Still, in every story, there is always one person who watches closely. In Oga Kyul's case, it was his neighbor, Madam Ebubu. She was a sharp-tongued woman, always spying through her window, always poking her nose into other people's matters. And when she noticed Oga Kyul's sudden riches, her heart began to burn with curiosity. Madam Ebubu was not an ordinary woman. She was sharp, clever, and had eyes like a hawk. From her compound, she watched Oga Kyul every day. She noticed that he never went to the farm, yet his house was full of food, clothes, and even money. She murmured, "This lazy man is hiding something. How can a man who sleeps all day be richer than those of us who sweat in the sun? No, something is fishy." One afternoon, when Oga Kyul went to the market, Madam Ebubu tiptoed near his window. She peeped inside but saw nothing unusual. Just mats, a bed, and some old calabashes. She shook her head. Maybe he is using juju or stealing from somewhere. Still, she refused to give up. Every day, she watched him like a cat watching a rat hole. Sometimes she would pretend to be sweeping her yard, but her eyes were fixed on Oga Kyul's hut. Sometimes, she even followed him secretly to see where he went. But Oga Kyul was careful. He never used the pot where anyone could see. He always hid it deep inside his room, under his bed. Madam Ebubu grew more frustrated. "I must find out his secret," she said, biting her lip. "One day, he will make mistake, and when that day comes, I will catch him red-handed." And truly, her day of discovery was coming faster than one hot evening. Oga Kyul returned from the market. He was so tired from carrying meat and palm wine that he forgot himself. Instead of hiding the magic pot under the ground as usual, he lazily dropped it right on top of his bed and went outside to ease himself. That was the very moment Madam Ebubu had been waiting for. She had been pretending to pound yam in her mortar, but her eyes were on his hut. When she saw the black pot sitting carelessly on the bed, her heart leaped. "Aha," she whispered, wiping sweat from her face. "So this is the treasure he hides. A dirty old pot. Is this